First wave, I was about 1,000 yards from the ship. The shell struck us, and the boat went down. The only thing in the water there was 4 of us Navy fellows. We hadn't been hurt too bad because we was up by the engine when it hit. Got another boat. When we hit the beach, I lowered the ramp, and I think every gun on the beach was on us. The storm that day naturally was quite rough, and it turned us around sideways on the beach, and we couldn't get off anyway then, so the coxswain says, if we're going to live through this, we got to get off this boat. So we jumped over the side on the outside of the boat, landed in pinkish red water, and from that point on, that day, I don't remember nothing until late that afternoon up on the beach. I've forgotten all of that. That's why I can talk.
When we got in there a month later, there was still some gliders with bodies still in them. It was unreal. And right off that first night, the Krauts hit us. And the squad I was in is 12 men. And I had 3 captured and 3 wounded and 3 killed. We went out on patrol to look for these German guys. And after out, about 5 miles out, one of the Frenchmen tripped a mine. They didn't even know what hit them. I got just minor injuries out of it. My lieutenant was behind me, and he got part of his right side was ripped open. And my sergeant was behind him, and he had a leg blown off and a bunch of other wounds. I was the first one to come to. And I went back and took care of the sergeant, and he was in rough shape.
I think I had it easier maybe than some of them. You couldn't go to sleep, it was so hot. And so I said, let's go skinny dipping, which we did. We weren't as spit and polish as some of the units. I think we weren't quite as bad as MASH, but but it was, I mean, look at the things we did. And so I always refer to how we existed, what we did, and that more than dwelling on what we saw and were involved in as far as the tragedies.
On the telephone we had, back to the captain, he called all of us, we had troops all spread out, and we had field phones, back to his headquarters. And he called us and said, don't shoot any more Krauts. He says, the war is over.
I've been asked if I would go back in again. I said yes. I wouldn't take $1 million for what I went through, but I wouldn't take $1 million to go through it again either. But it's something you got to live with. You got to learn to live with it.